Today we're going to talk about self-love and care and depression, because when you're depressed, obviously we tend to let ourselves go, and we need to stay focused the best that we can. First, let's talk about what does depression look like. I have several different definitions for what depression looks like. Depression is when your head feels disoriented, like you're all drugged up. You can't think about anything because nothing else matters. Depression is like looking around with tunnel vision at all the happy, carefree people and being angry at them for smiling and laughing. Depression is when you find something to balance that surreal feeling through a chemical, such as drugs or alcohol, because it's how you feel inside anyway. Depression is going home to an abusive partner and making him angry enough to beat you so that you can feel pain, because all you feel is numb inside. Depression is walking around with tears in your eyes and mastering the art of drying them up long enough to talk to your customers or your coworkers or just anybody that you deal with in your daily life. Depression is going through the motions of everyday life, wishing that you weren't alive, because life has literally ripped the life right out of you, and death seems so much less painful. Depression is feeling utter despair, bawling your eyes out while you sit home, soaking in all of your memories and your mistakes and seeing what you could have done differently. Depression is waking up from a dream of seeing your children and reaching your arms out, only to have them ripped from your arms over and over again, night after night. And then you wake up and you cry and you're bawling your eyes out into your pillow, screaming because you miss them and you're worried. And you can't find them. Depression is trying to seek counseling to help you to get through the pain, but no one can help because they all look at you like it's your fault, and no one understands because they don't know the facts of what really happened. Depression is looking at your child's photo or photos or any paperwork that you have, even if you don't have those photos, because you miss them so much. Depression is looking at every child, wondering if they're yours, or even seeing a resemblance to your child, even though they're not yours. Depression is gasping in tears every time you hear a child crying. Depression is looking at the stars at night, feeling like you hear your child screaming out to you in pain, and it's killing you inside because you can't help them. Depression is feeling your child's presence, knowing that they are so close to you that it's like you're standing next to them, but you can't see or feel them, and it drives you completely mad, only to find out that you were right about your intuitions once he does find you. And depression is having your oldest child find you, and you wallow in pain and self-pity over your mistakes, while all he can do is return even more pain by always calling you degrading names and always wanting to argue and fight over everything, and all you want to do is just love him even more now that he's here. and that's after reunion. Self-care is extremely important. Back when I lost my kids, I didn't have the internet, even though it was just coming out to the public. So I had to learn to be my own rock and my own strength. And one thing I learned is that self-talk is very important. Self-help books are very important. Learning to tell yourself what no one else will tell you, saying words that you need to hear that no one else will say, that is your goal. Because even if you don't see it now, you can and you will get through this, because in the end, the show must go on. I recommend looking into the books of Iyanla Vanzant. Her name is hard to pronounce. She was the one who helped me get through the hard times and to keep pulling myself out. She has some really good reading material and workbooks, and her earlier material helped me stay focused even when I was in the heart of my depression. She was able to help me keep my mind going and just keep pulling myself out of any situation that I didn't want to find myself back into again. And a friend once said to me, he said, you have to decide where you want to be in life when they do find you. So I started thinking about it, and I started looking at my life, and I started making changes and doing more. And I started making lists for myself of things that I need to accomplish so that I could at least appear to be halfway normal at that time when my kids were able to finally find me. And so I just decided I didn't want them to find me in the pit of despair that I really was in, that I had enveloped myself into, basically. And even though it doesn't fix anything, making changes, it keeps you alive and it helps you stay focused, and focus is what you're going to need when they do come home. Because you have to be strong enough for everything that follows after reunion. And I've often heard it said that we as birth mothers have to own up and take ownership of our faulty mistakes. And to me, this is like saying, you don't have the right to feel sad or sorry. You don't have the rights to feel sad because you made your bed and now you have to lie in it. You have to sit in the corner and let everyone throw stones at you and lash out with you with a whip to your back, and you're not allowed to cry because it's all your fault, and you deserve everything you get. And those same people who are saying these things are the same people who have never truly experienced a real hardship in life, or the true evil that some people can exert on another human being. And these people saying these things are the same people publicly sympathizing on their social medias over puppies who lost its mother, but they don't put shame to the puppy because it lost, or they don't put shame to the mother because it lost her pups. And it might be a minor comparison, but it's still the same concept. It's still a loss. How can you agree to say this is okay just because it's an animal, but as human beings, you deserve to be punished? And it's during these times when you read these statements, when you just have to say, I'll forgive you for your ignorance and the things that you do not understand because you've obviously never walked in my path. or seen the things that I've seen, or seen the side of people that I have seen to know how drastic others can prey on a vulnerable heart. Just because one person is lucky enough to have lived a cushiony life doesn't mean we all have that. And unfortunately, our challenges in life came a lot sooner than yours did. And you have no clue. So, you have to forgive them. And you have to forgive yourself. And you have to keep reminding yourself this, because just as everyone else, you too deserve to be as happy as you are able to find the ability to be. And I say the ability because the ability to be happy takes work. We don't just be happy because somebody made us smile. That's not happiness. And true depression is when you forget how to smile and you don't even know how to form the creases to your lips anymore. And it takes you years of practicing, and you have to keep practicing in the mirror and practicing on photos and practicing on the phone just to convince yourself that you can smile because you deserve to be happy. And to an outsider, they're going to look at you and think, well, gee, this person must be really stuck on themselves because all they do is take photos of themselves. And it's not like that, because sometimes we have to be our own rock and we have to keep ourselves going. As a birth mother, finding happiness is much more challenging for us than it is for a normal person who lived a normal life. As a birth mother, there's a part of you that always feels dead inside. And you really only ever are able to feel partially happy because sometimes we don't even feel like we ourselves deserve to be happy. And then you're going to have an outsider come at you and be like, oh, it's all your fault, point fingers, finger pointing. You're not taking ownership. You're not owning up to your mistakes. They don't understand, and they don't realize how much and how often we have replayed in our minds over and over again the situations that did take place that led to the loss of our kids, and how many times over and over again that we have had to beat ourselves up. We do it all the time. And then somebody else wants to come along and they think they have the right to sit there and keep lashing out at you and keep beating out at you at the same time. You do deserve to be happy. Maybe full happiness is no longer part of the equation, but staying strong and focused is, no matter what. And that's what I want to emphasize. You have to stay focused and you have to keep yourself going, because in the end, what really matters is yourself, because nobody else is going to be in your corner. So you have to fight for your own will and your own peace of mind, because in reunion, there are no guarantees for a good reunion. And you have to be mentally prepared, and you have to be strong enough and stable enough to be able to withstand what's going to come your way. Because you're going to be faced with more challenges in reunion. And they're not just going to be they're no longer going to be from the people who helped you get into this position in the first place. You are now going to receive new challenges from your child, from your adult child, this person who is going to become a stranger in your life. So take care of yourself. Find some books to read. Find all the information that you can, because in the end, you have to take care of yourself, because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to be able to give you the kind of care that you need better than you can for yourself. And I want to thank you for listening. Again, I want to state that I am not a professional. I am basing my blogs on personal experience and things that I have learned along the way. And when you do listen to my blogs, I can honestly say that I am not going to be scripted with a scripted, limited amount of things that I can say based on what a scholarship or school background gives me. I'm not limited. I am going to speak my mind, and I'm going to say exactly how I feel. And if you don't agree with it, then you're entitled to your opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But until you have walked in these shoes and walked down this path, you will never understand. And with that, I want to wish everybody a good day, and thanks for listening.